Hello, friends. This is Giuliano, and it is a Tuesday. Today is the 8th of February. I just wanted to share the weekly roundup. Still figuring out when's the best day to do it. I didn't get a chance to do it on the Monday, but here we are. We're jumping in to look at some weekly price charts for various cryptocurrencies. So, what have we got here? Well, we've got the BTC. And this big green candle is the weekly candle we're looking at for the week of 31st January starting. And it worked into February. So we also have monthly candle closes, but we're going to focus on the weekly here and just recognize where we are. The current week, now I'm kind of cheating a bit because we're talking current week, but we've already seen resistance and rejection up here at this zone. We're seeing the body of the candle play around at this level, but overall we have with that pump last week really brought us quickly into the resistance zone, and there you have it. I mean, 3 green candles in a row potentially here, with then what will come next, a pullback, maybe, but this is definitely a strong reversal. We're reaching not quite to this level, which is the level I would want to see broken before 1, 2, 3, 4 candle, 5. Let's argue 5 candles. So 1, 2, 3. It would need to be 2 more weeks. The price would need to be higher than, let's say, 50,000, 51,000. Otherwise, it would look like this is not quite the reversal of this whole move, at least based on the way I've been counting it. But more and more, it looks like things are not adding up one way or the other. It's just very difficult market to forecast, at least at this stage, for the short term. Although so far everything has gone well, we've seen a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 potentially on the way. But it looks like that less and less as we start expanding, instead of what might have been expected was some sort of contraction. So anyway, yeah, we're at a key resistance zone, as you can see by the lines that we've drawn before, which is just taken from the price levels. And that's about it. Not much to say. Previous week we had the bounce, and then this next week we had a really big green candle. So big moves for Bitcoin. And now the question is, the fight will be here. We will see the fight here. It of course makes sense. Will we see more down, or will we get up and then retest and then go higher or something like that? That would be an incredible movement, and not unexpected, based on some of the other things that we've seen before in Bitcoin. But at the same time, this could also be the type of move we're seeing where, we're going to get another turn to the downside. Now, is it going to be a lower low than this? Well, we'll see at that time what starts to play out. But overall, it looks like we are coming closer and closer to the end of this whole move here, which could signal the end of this whole move here. It'll just depend where we bounce. If we start bouncing, on the channel itself, then we might be saying, well, we could be working with a more complex correction. But that's just other ways of thinking, neo-wave method of thinking. So yeah, having said that, it's basically as we've expected, and there's plenty of good content out there. So if you want more ideas around Bitcoin, I'm sure you can find it. So hopefully, thank you for being here, and I hope that this is working for you, helpful for you, because it is for me, just talking it out. As we can see that we're turning the momentum from negative towards relatively positive. So let's see what can come of this. And of course, yeah, we'll see if what type of action we get on this MACD. So far, it looks like there's a chance that it will be, how do you say, bullish convergence, not divergence, bullish convergence. Because if the price remains a higher low, then that's a bullish move on the MACD. And if the price somehow makes a lower low, then you would start to see potentially, if this MACD doesn't go lower than the previous one, the red histograms, then that would be a major bullish divergence. So far, it looks like a convergence, which is good. It's strong. It's expected in terms of not showing any contrary evidence. And there you go. Okay. Good. That's it for Bitcoin. I like the way it looks. I do think there's a room for one more retest and one more fear factor. But having said that, maybe that will negate the option, because the market is really going to do the things that I least expect a lot of the times. That's what it seems like. So I don't know if that's how you experience it, but what a wild ride. Okay, so hey, look at the pirate chain. We're gonna get there. First, we want to show KMD. So what I like about the weekly roundup we've been doing is that some of the charts are at their lows, lowest of lows. Some of them were at their tops and are now showing strong corrections. And so but they're still kind of on the upper end of their range. So it's interesting to see the lows, the ones breaking lower lows, the ones that are making breaking from their previous all-time highs, and now they are breaking down in their structure. So KMD is one of the charts that's definitely making lower lows. The low is lowest low of all time in BTC price territory. And what can we see here? You know, just the fact that in making lowest lows, you were in green positive momentum. Like as you're making lowest lows, you're making green positive momentum here. You know, that just is really difficult to swallow for KMD participants here who are holding this. But here's okay. So here are a couple of angles here. One is we're reaching the lower end of this Bollinger Band. Is this going to be the opportunity for a spring? That's what we're looking for. Otherwise, we're at that lower end, and it's just going to break down more. Yeah, I mean, that's just what will happen at the lower end of the Bollinger Band. Otherwise, we're going to get a bounce back up to this 20-week moving average, which is around 1,500 Satoshis. But then, you know, that'll still be like lower high territory. So does that just mean lower lows, or do we start to find some sort of turnaround? That'll be interesting to watch. Do we bounce here? Do we bounce here? I bet the wick would touch here. But anyway, but good. That's fine. That's. Let's see. We have to get some movement. We have to get this price back into some sort of positive momentum, a positive territory that doesn't bring us into like lower lows. Okay. Well, that's KMD. There's room above, that's for sure, and there's less and less room below because eventually you hit zero. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of room below to reach that 1,000 target. You know, this 1,000 target, it's a psychological one. Let's see if it gets there. It's at this point, it's not easy to tell. Like, there's no real signal about what's happening in terms of that. It's just the price action itself is also not giving any good cues. The Bollinger Band is maybe the only indicator that's giving, well, of the ones that I'm using here, it's the only indicator really that's giving any hope for a bounce either to the 20 or to the 20-week or to the top of the Bollinger Band. And the other option here too is that's nice is that it's narrowing. It's starting to narrow, so maybe it does bounce and hang around here and then go higher. That would be great. That makes sense. Cool. We're going to watch this as it goes. If you're grabbing down here, you know, wishing you all the best. Good luck, and let's get this party started for KMD. It's been a while. All right, now we're going to move out of KMD. We're going to go into Pirate Chain. Speaking of getting the party started, it looks like the pirates are finally seeing some light, some dawn after this dark night of dump. You know, there was a really bright star right here that appeared, maybe you might call it that. And this next really big signal that I like to see here is right here. Now, this is this week's candle, so it doesn't really count. But wow, we are getting back into some green positive momentum territory, crossing the MACD. Incredible. That's amazing. We are here, pirates. It's this week here. You know, this last week of January was the last week in the negative momentum territory. even though it's relatively positive all the way, but it was just breaking down for months. And yeah, back to a strong weekly green candle, a bullish candle, back to this resistance line here that we've already created. And if we look on the daily price chart, you'll see there's Ichimoku cloud above, and there's resistance here, but there's definitely room for moving up. What I like is that the price came down, bottom of the Bollinger Band. It still dropped down further, touched it. Now we've come off of the Bollinger Band and we're kind of floating. I like it when the price touches low and then comes off and floats. It allows the opportunity for regrouping and going back up. And the same thing on the opposite end when it's inverted and when it's the price going up, bounces off the top, comes back out of it, or yeah, like either it goes out of it and comes back in, or it comes out of the, like it goes away from, I should say, away from the Bollinger Band extremity, and then it floats and then it gets ready, and here we are. And how fascinating, we are at the closing levels, weekly closing levels of this resistance, downtrending resistance. Will we close here? That would be fantastic, but we'll see. Maybe that leads to more downside after. Just because you have a strong week this week doesn't mean it can't keep going down. But I also don't want to be sounding like some sort of perma bear, nor perma bull. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is some rejection here. But no matter what, whether we're going up with it or whether we're going sideways with it, it looks like we are so close to the end of this this angular down move. And now I don't know if we're going to get, well, hey, we might get a big move up like that and then back down and figure ourselves out to the top of the Bollinger Band, which is around 4,000 Satoshis. Okay. Even like 5,000 if you're really pushing. But yeah, see, I don't know. I don't know about that. I can feel comfortable if it touches the 20-week, comes back down and makes a higher low. That would be ideal. You know, getting out of this move. Okay, even if it gets to the top there and comes back down, makes a higher low, then you're even stronger. So I would say still have some patience, but of course, if you've been scooping up here, good for you, good job. You know, none of this financial advice, but especially if you were getting some up here or even over here, and you were able to grab a bunch down here, and especially at these low lows below the 2,000 range, I hope you're feeling good about it all, and I wish you all the best with that, you know, into the future. Okay. So that's it for Pirate Chain. I don't really have much else to say on that other than good moves here, breaking towards this downtrending resistance. So good stuff. Let's get rid of you. Well, anyway, you'll probably come back. Okay, yes, moving into some positive territory here. Now, I just want to show the daily just for an understanding of this. Okay, I want to understand this. This idea here is like a shock wave in a certain sense. And so, and it's like, it's physics, but here we found some sort of neutrality here for a long time, but it resulted in the price just trickling down. So same thing on the weekly, you know, we went up, we've come down, we're just crossing now, but look at all this sideways action. I'm not saying it has to do it to this extent on the weekly. What I am saying is that on a weekly price chart at this point, you might be looking for the price to neutralize horizontally before expecting a big move up. So this could just be the beginning, of a bigger accumulation phase. However, having said that, if there is going to be any movement up in the ADABTC price, I mean, it definitely could pop and come to a higher level here. I mean, I really wouldn't be surprised if these 5,000 levels get tested. But like I said, in terms of accumulation, it feels like there would need to be a bit of chopping through this whole range before the accumulation is set to move to this next level. That's just the sense I'm getting. Okay, I hope that makes something helpful for you. And we're going to move on to the next chart. Yeah. Let's go to the crypto charts. We got ADA against BTC down in the 26s. Okay, now with the ADA price chart, let's go to ADA. Load chart layout, BTC. Okay, it's basically the same chart, but if we make any markings, it will remain. So yeah, this line turned out to be an important line. It was deviated quite a bit here. We even got up into that territory. We're going to get rid of these now. Not necessary. Definitely not going there just yet. And in fact, with this Ichimoku cloud here, ADABTC is not looking healthy. There's still some option here. We've gotten a bunch of red candles, so there is opportunity for the green to come. But even then, what's it going to be? Just rejected at the 20-week again, making a lower high. Rejected at this type of level here, top of the Ichimoku cloud. Anyway, I'll get rid of that. Trying to clean this up a bit for you. This zone here is definitely in play now as we find the lower end of this Ichimoku cloud. Keep getting rejected intra-week, you know, intra-week in this Ichimoku cloud. It just cannot handle it. So yeah, it looks like a dump is incoming. I don't see how this weakness translates into strength. But then again, like I'm no expert here, so it is technically a higher low than it was here. So you never know. Okay, please do your own due diligence and all that. But in this case, like in terms of the Bollinger Band, I don't think we've come and touched that edge yet. We haven't really gotten there. So I do think that this lower end of the Bollinger Band, this 200 weekly moving average, this lower end of the boxy area, this price level here, this kind of lower end here, it just makes sense that the price would come down and touch Bollinger Band, support, resistance, supports. So, you know, and you even have this here for maybe an intra-week move to touch around the 200-week moving average. It's definitely, that's the bias that I'm sensing. I don't think we're going to get a one-to-one move like we've looked at last time, you know, in previous videos. That would bring us way down. I don't think we're getting there, but a 61.8 move compared to the A, if it's an ABC, a 61.8 is definitely a reasonable zone. It pushes around that 200-week moving average and even through the Bollinger Band, and it confluences nicely with the lower end of this price level here, the supports and resistances. So that's one thought. Okay, it would also confluence with, let's see, on a retracement of the whole move, it would confluence with a nice 78.6 retracement. So you know, that could signal an opportunity for reversal. So we'll see. I see this zone as a good zone for Cardano. You can ladder in around here. But anyway, you know, that's why it takes patience. We were up here, over here, all the way here. And it was like, is it ever going to come down here? How can it keep going down? Look how much has come down already. But it's possible. It's definitely possible. This is against BTC as well. You know, it's becoming a time when you really have to decide, do I want to be holding the BTC or do I want to be holding the altcoin? All right. Or even just, do I want to be holding the stable coin? Let's call it. Okay, that's it for ADA. Those are some main thoughts. We had an extension of this wave here, and we have a retracement of the whole wave here from this. Yeah, they confluence around this zone here, anywhere from like 1700 Satoshis, let's say, to about 2000 Satoshis, let's say. All right, cool. Good look out there. What else? Yeah, it's hard to say with this momentum. Is it going to keep going further down? Doesn't look like it wants to keep going that much further. That's why I think maybe some sort of 61.8 here extension could still work out. You saw what happened with Pirate Chain as the price kept trickling down and the momentum was getting relatively more and more positive, but we'll see what happens here. Doesn't feel like there's been a complete capitulation yet. It's coming, feels like. Okay, so that's ADA. Let's move on from ADA and look at our rhyming buddy, Theta. Theta is following this down channel pretty nicely with that deviation and some wicking deviations. What do we have here? Still with this similar to ADA, where it looks like it wants to cross back over, but it's not quite ready. Still looks like this zone has potential, but we could be reaching the lows here as well. Although, yeah, so here's the deal. It's similar to the, I think it was Pirate Chain, right? Where the price kind of goes to the edge of the Bollinger Band, comes off of it. So now we're looking for the price to really come off of it, maybe move towards this end of the channel. And then we can be more confident that there's some possibility that it will turn around at these levels here. You know, some sort of retesting of it. That would be fantastic, but that's again a month away or so. So in that sense, look, we had a nice bullish candle the previous week. If this candle this week's is red or is a weak green candle, that's not so positive. You know, you have one green candle, you'd like to see two, maybe three. But before it turns around. But if you're going to get turned around right away, then yeah, you're definitely looking to come into this box and make some lower lows, and unfortunately maybe dump this Bollinger Band down a bit more. Yeah, maybe just if you're looking to pick up, ladder in your orders all the way here. You might only get them over here. You might not get any over here, and you might have to just watch it go up, and then when it comes back down, you might get in then. At that point, though, it might even keep going down further. These are the things then you would look on lower time frames and get your confirmations and see what's happening. But usually the higher time frame can tell us a lot. We just need to be patient. We just need to be patient. And if we look at it this way, yeah, let's see this. I don't want to get too heavy into this type of stuff, but just going to do an extension here. Yeah, you could be done. You could be done if it's a double zigzag. Like the way I'm seeing it, okay, is you ended your pattern, your up move here. Okay, you had, let's say, just for example, looks like some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But anyway, looks like the start of the new trend. The new trend down is here. It looks fair to say that. However, there could be this actually could be a flat pattern, and then X, and then we're going somewhere else with it. So far what I'm seeing instead is like an ABC here, and then an X wave, and then now we have another ABC. Interestingly, like I remember this shape on the Pirate Chain chart too. So this one here where it would like, it did this part, it did its come down here, it came up with this kind of a triangular hat here, came over and came down. So yeah, if we're coming like this, we have an ABC, and then we have an X, and then we have an ABC, and this ABC is 1-to-1. In fact, though, I think the A, the B, and the C. So maybe it's not quite done if we measure from here. But then again, if it's time to turn around, then we would expect it to see something like a 61.8 or a 78.6 to turn around. So yeah, maybe we're close. Maybe not. Maybe it needs to go down into the 600s, high 600s, in order to fulfill some sort of 1-to-1. And unfortunately, maybe it's more than a double type of zigzag here. Maybe it needs a third one to get down to the bottom of this zone. So we'll see. We'll watch it play out. But patience is the type of thing that might get you here, you know. And even if you don't buy at the lowest of the lows, it's about risk reward, I guess, in that sense. But anyway, if you're just looking to hold long term, and again, none of this financial advice, but this is a fine level. All of these are fine levels to average it into the zone as an overall average price, and then you go. And especially if you've been getting up here, you know, it's always a nice time to balance out. But anyway, I'm not doing that advice stuff. We're all just trying to manage our own things, aren't we? So anyway, I'm here to share with you my thoughts, and I hope it's helpful for you. Next, we move on to ICX. ICX is another one that is low down, and we did get some support on the weekly price chart. We got some support, and then we got a bounce, a nice bounce into the resistance zone, which were chosen from previous supports and resistances. So there you go. That's ICX for now. It's still below this uptrend, so it's kind of pointless now to have that uptrend. So we're going to just leave it like that for now. That's not necessarily pointless. Maybe it would come back and hit the underside before coming lower down, but I'm not too concerned about that. So we're going to leave these out. Well, they'll probably come back too. And that's it. The only good thing we've got going here is this higher low compared to this low, but currently it's a lower low compared to this low. So not so good. But there's a good potential here with this deep M formation. It's just, yeah, we'll see it play out, okay? But overall, looks okay. It's at the lower end of this whole rectangular range. Having said that, if you're expecting lower lows, then that compared to here, then yeah, you definitely want patience. If instead you're looking for a few ladders here, then you're in a good zone to start laddering in if you haven't already started. All right, that's it for ICX. Always, if you want to check lower time frames, it gives you better specifics in terms of zones and levels for laddering. Okay, so that's it for ICX. Let's move on to track. Oh, wow, track has been choppy. Yeah. So last week, it's got a nice bounce. So here is a nice example of the bounce to the 20-week moving average. It comes down, drops below a 20-week moving average, and it bounces back up. For short-term trading, I'm sure it can be very helpful to use the weekly chart to have an idea of when a move might be doing something like this, where it's bouncing back and you realize, okay, this is a good zone to get out, because most likely, we just broke it down. It's going to come back in and touch it, but it most likely is not going to break back above. I mean, it might, but it tends to follow certain probabilities and patterns, especially when you just start making the negative momentum here. So this weekly price chart of OriginTrail, currently on a lower low and a lower high. So let's start channeling this sucker. Let's use line. So there you go, roughly channeled. So it's narrowing. So let's see, this seems to be the target down here, and then we can maybe move our way out of it. Yeah, so what do we see here? Just want to take another look. Because sometimes the candles, they give other information, like the price went down and up and down, like there's choppiness here. Whereas with the closes, using the line chart, it's really just a simple zigzag here. So what do I want to see? Yeah, nice one-to-one on that. And then I'm going to take the whole thing. Oh, okay. Well, hey, if you're going to go down towards there, maybe you're hitting this 1500 levels again. Maybe you're going all the way down to 1200 Satoshis. Yeah. You are most likely going to 1200 when I look at in the sense, because from here to here, there's no real support resistance type of stuff. There's no price action like this, so instead, I mean, yeah, you got a little bounce here, but it looks like we're going towards the lower end of this whole move, which often it does. I've noticed that the price will, on the final big move, whatever degree, it will retrace that whole big move before it has a chance to turn around and go further. So yeah, we're looking at this 1200 region, unfortunately, but that's just what it is. Maybe it's gonna go sideways first before coming down, but that's just what I'm seeing. That's just what I'm seeing. So we'll see it play out, whether or not it does or doesn't. Oh, hollow candles and candles. Okay, that's it for OriginTrail. Maybe by the time it touches down here, the Bollinger Band will be up here and it'll be touching the bottom of the band. No harm, no foul on that one. Yeah, and then maybe it can bounce off of that and find that zone where it can continue higher. We'll see. Alrighty, that is track OriginTrail. Now, Daryl, with the bounce in Bitcoin, all of these charts have also made good bounces. I can't believe that this is what has happened with Daryl. I mean, we did it, but in fact, it's even so I had it like around here or here. I thought maybe it would just touch this cloud area, but because it's not a solid cloud, it doesn't really have the same effect, I guess. I don't know. What a move. So we did get back to the other end of the channel eventually, from the low to the high. But you see, so I mean, I don't know. I would have to go back into the archives and look at when I drew this line. It wasn't right at the beginning. It's not like I said it's going to go here, but fascinating, just fascinating. So I think we're just going to follow the plan, and it's going to come back down towards here, towards the lower end of this big move up. It'll come back down. And does this give us enough hope for a bounce here? I think it could. You have previous price action here as well. So and even if it bounces here, it comes off, it'll probably come one more time and then go out of it. But yeah, good stuff. Daryl, I don't have much else to say other than I'm expecting it to follow the path. My expectations mean nothing. It could go one way or the other. Good luck. But yeah, we have some way to go with this negative momentum building, the MACD and all that. So there you have Daryl price chart. I thought it was fascinating. This is one of the ones I was looking the most forward to sharing. Although I didn't really look too hard at all the price charts. I did look at Daryl a couple of days ago and saw this happening. And because last week, the candle was closing up all the way up here. It's not even like we're looking at this week for any of that. And this week is just, just giving us more to smile at. But anyway, here we go. That's Daryl. Next, I'm going over to the LTC chart. With LTC, similar to ICX and more similar to KMD, we are at quite a low of lows. However, at least on the LTC, it got quite the bounce, and it didn't eventually get to our 20-week moving average. Now the question is it that rejection that's going to take us to a lower low? I mean, already rejected here as well. So that doesn't, and then making a lower low and being rejected again, that doesn't bode well. But at the same time, you can still pray for support down here. So that's the idea here for LTC. My guess is definitely could go down further. Definitely could go down further. Having said that, maybe this is just the choppy area, and then we go higher towards the top of the Bollinger Band, towards the Ichimoku cloud, and by then maybe towards the 200-week moving average. Yeah, there's a good possibility one way or the other. So check your lower time frames. I would say that, like with Pirate Chain, I was mentioning about finding some sort of flattening. I hope it doesn't take 2 years to flatten and keep making lower lows. I don't think that's going to be the case with the Pirate Chain. But anyway, here's an example of LTC. It's flattened now, similar to here after flattening even just a bit, had a huge move up in momentum. So let's see. I think the bias is to the upside in momentum against BTC, but then again, maybe it needs to roll over first before going higher. We're going to find out. Okay, that's the LTC. Danger, danger. Okay. BNB now. We are moving to some big names across the board with all of the popular coins. Oh, there you go. Okay, I'm cheating again. We're using this week, but I mean from last week. Here's what I was thinking last week's candle, right? Here's what I was thinking last week's candle. You have this candle here, whether it's green or red, it's such a narrow body with all of this wick, and it's right on the moving average here, the 20-week moving average above it. If it was below it, it would still give me the same feeling, but above it just meant that we needed one more week before we would see it close below. But look, this is such an intermediate candle. I mean, how much more perfect could you get other than maybe having a small wick on either side, but it just makes even more sense that there's big wicks here. Showing the volatility, showing the uncertainty, and yeah, and it's just going to continue the downtrend. And here we have that evidence of it. So BNB taking a BN beating a bit from the highs. I mean, it's had a privileged position of making higher highs and higher highs and higher highs and higher highs. So I'm sure nobody's complaining. I sure am not complaining. But the next stop is to break this midway line. I think there will be a bit of bouncing here, although you never know, it might just crack right through it. In fact, yeah, like we do, it doesn't really, I don't know. I feel like the cloud is more of the appeal for this price chart. So I get the sense regardless, maybe you break down and retest, but which would confluence with the uptrending line and the horizontal line. You retest there and then come back down to the cloud. Do you break down through the cloud to the lower end of the cloud and find support? Do you just bounce in the cloud and get out maybe with a wick and then the body is outside of the cloud? Maybe you're like hanging in here and you get out, and maybe you break down. Oh, come to the 200 weekly moving average. Oh, and if it was like a breakout where it gets back above the cloud, oh wow, that would be just a crazy move. Wild. But anyway, I'm just going wild now myself. I need to just calm down, one thing at a time, have patience, lower end of the Bollinger Band. Yeah, this is the target, and I think we get a bounce from here. That's just my sense. I don't know if it goes out that fast, but I think this will give the right support. Having said that, beware out there. The next major support levels is here around the 5,000 level, or sorry, 500,000 level, 500,000 Satoshis. Wow, for BNB. Okay. Yeah, looking to make some sort of M formation at least, you know. Is it coming back down here? Then getting rejected for going lower? Could be. I mean, why not? Why not? It's definitely possible. Definitely possible. Definitely possible. Okay. Cool. BNB. And that's it for BNB. We're just starting to make more negative momentum. The only thing, though, I will add about this BNB momentum talk, it did get already some negative momentum, but the MACD and signal were still above in the positive territory. So I do think we'll get a sharp, and as it looks like, we're probably going to get a sharp decline. Maybe it'll go into the negative territory, but it looks like we're getting a second, red histogram. So negative histogram. So buckle up if you're going to hodl. Okay, next, moving through, we've got Link. Chainlink is also another one where, I mean, is it going negative again? Is it going to stay positive? Can it, it had such a strong move to the top of the Bollinger Band, touch the bottom Bollinger Band, top of the Bollinger Band, rejection on the downtrending resistance, rejection from the Bollinger Band, didn't even stop at the 20-week moving average, rejected at the 20-week moving average from the underside, not looking favorable, but you have your 200-week moving average in orange here, and you've got this orange trend line as well to work with it. So let's change that to a yellow trend line. And there you have it. That is Chainlink. Lots of danger, but at the same time, just like with Pirate Chain, maybe it's just a quick little negative momentum into a positive momentum. And yeah, maybe you even build some bullish divergence if the price goes lower than this. If the price just happens to go lower, then you might even be building bullish divergence on the weekly. Having said that, getting rejected here, and after, yeah, like this would have, the strong move would have been support at the 20, at least a bit of support at the 20 and chopping, but it didn't. So I don't know what to say about this other than hope that the weekly holds. But my look so far is you might be coming back down to these regions here. Okay, these are our next supports, and it could be making its way. Like I see so if we're going to go lower, not pretty. You're back at like a 20,000 Satoshis level, which is again, towards the lower end of the big up move. I know there were up and downs within it, but it was all one big trend without a huge dump like this. I just get the sense that this was a big enough dump. It cut back far enough, but then again, maybe the price needs to come all the way back down to these levels, which is just below that one-to-one move. So anyway, yeah, I guess there is definitely room for this type of move down here. There just is. But having said that, there's also room for working its way out of this. So, or on a weekly, maybe it goes so flat for a while, but then again, that just, I mean, we're going to talk a flat for a year. I don't think so. Especially after this big bull move and this move down. So, and if we want to retrace this whole move, we're already at a 78.6. I mean, the beauty is that would bring us to an 88.6. So yeah, fine. Maybe the 88.6 retracement is what's necessary. That's the only unfortunate part, is that 78.6 is so much higher than 88.6, and you're at the 78.6 now. If this is not going to hold as the support, then boom, yeah, 88.6 is most likely the level. Okay, that makes sense. Cool, very cool. I love you, Fibonacci. Fibonacci tools, and yeah, I'm just enjoying doing this. I hope you're enjoying it too. I hope it's giving you some thoughts, some ideas, some ways of thinking that you might apply to your own technical analysis. Dot looking weak for sure. Expanding the Bollinger Band. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Broke out from this underside of broke down from this uptrending line. So what does that mean? Especially because it was just all choppy move. It wasn't necessarily like an impulse proper. At least didn't look and feel like it. So in that case, it's like this is one big corrective move. So where's it going next? I mean, just it makes sense that we're coming down to these levels that we've expected. Having said that, we're turning around at this edge of Bollinger Bands, so there is a potential that it'll float here first and then it can move higher. But after breaking this uptrending line, it's either sideways or down for a little while. The negative momentum looks like it's still increasing, so we'll see. Keep an eye on it though. Maybe you can start to build some sort of divergence, especially if the price goes lower than this, but the MACD histogram doesn't, or if the price stays higher and the MACD histogram gets lower than the previous one, then you have a different class of divergence, and it is yeah, it's divergence nonetheless. Okay, so that's DOT. Not much else to say other than maybe there is a chance to come back up, test this underside of the line, and at the same time test the 20-week. But you know, the 20-week was already broken down and retested for many weeks in a row, so I don't think it needs to come back there before going down more, especially if it starts dumping in the next week or two. It can easily cut this Bollinger Band line down all the way down here. So yeah, look for something like that to happen. Just trying to see, like, is this, yeah, this itself could be some sort of an ABC, and we could be doing some sort of 1, 2, and wherever, I don't know what is it going to look like, but an impulse move down. Like maybe this is a flat pattern right here itself, and I don't know what this is. Maybe this itself is also a flat pattern, but there's nothing in between. So maybe this is the X wave here. Whatever, doesn't really matter. Bottom line is down is the preference here. Down is the bias, okay? But keep an eye on it if you're interested. All right. Yeah, if you want more ways of thinking, definitely check a look at all of the materials that have been written over the years. Library can be helpful, online could be helpful, and buying the book, of course, can be helpful. If you have anything that helps you and you want to share about it, let me know. Okay, where are we? FTM. Let us get the loading of the chart layout. Oh, this is the FTM weekly, but anyway. Okay. FTM, what a top. Okay, this is what needs to happen here. This is where my, like the Elliott wave type of thinking starts coming in. If we have some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is a 5, then what we're going to see is we're going to see the price come below this line here. We're going to see the price come below this line here. If this whole move is one cycle. If it's a 5 of like a bigger wave, okay, then that could be true. And in which case, then this is maybe just a 1, and we are going to be making a 2 now. And then in that case, maybe it doesn't fully break this, but that's a bit more nuanced. So if this whole cycle is over, we're going to be watching this to break in, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks it took to form. So 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. In 1 more week, we would need to see the price breaking below here if we're completing this whole move up as one wave. I don't think that's going to happen yet. We haven't even gotten through the 20-week moving average here. So in that case, and because this price action is coming into either into the 3rd wave or the 4th wave here, whatever you want to say, it would be breaking an Elliott wave principle if this is not fully, you know, like retracing the move to some big degree of correction. So in that case, there's an option also that this is like a 3 and this is a 4, and this whole thing is a corrective move here, even the up part. But having said that, then you're still kind of chopping into the corrective territory. So there might be something more complex going on, something more at play. I have also speculated that you will get a 5th wave up here in the what do you call it, 10,000 Satoshis level, and that this is just maybe like a 1, 2, and then we're going to get a 3, a 4, and a 5 before the big retrace. That's also possible. So in which case maybe this comes down to the 20-week moving average and then keeps going higher. So watch how it behaves when it comes to 20-week moving average is what I would say then about FTM. FTM is a watch how it behaves at the 20-week moving average. We're just getting into some negative momentum here. Okay, so and we had the divergence. So in that sense, you know, and I think I was just pointing out here that there was bullish divergence. Let's just narrow this and narrow this and open this up. So here, price was lower. Here, price was higher. But the MACD was lower. It was deeper in the negative. So that was some interesting bullish divergence right there on a weekly. And then we see bearish divergence also at the same time. So we're just, maybe this is the end of it all, and it is going to come down fast enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, maybe you give it one or we'll give it an extra one so it can have 6 weeks, and then in the next 2 weeks it's going to dump past the 3,000 level, like even like the 2,600. But that just seems a little bit much. It took 3 candles just to reach 2 candles previously. So yeah, these 3 red candles just to reach where these 2 green candles came from. So it's harder to call, but yeah, it looks relatively positive overall. And you still have this nice stair-stepping formation of the Ichimoku cloud. So maybe you can find some support on it eventually. The other option is, yeah, it moves up, it's going to retrace up after it moves down, and then it's going to continue moving down. Moves up, moves down, retrace up, and then come back down. That's possible. But in that case, then yeah, I do think that we're going to see something bigger after that, because it's not breaking this line fast enough. However, this one definitely broke down pretty fast from just the small wave. Anyway, that's it. Phantom is looking like it's definitely big on the correction, but you're out of good bounce zone. Well, no, let's use this because this is probably deviation, everything up here. So, and this level seems pretty solid here. So yeah, use the 20-week as a potential bounce level. Down to the 20-week, bounce off of it, and then probably come back down for more. It just, based on the momentum and the RSI, it just feels like it's going to take a bit of time. And when you give it enough time without being super bullish, then it's going to just offer sideways and down. Okay, so there is Phantom. We'll keep watching it. It'd be interesting to see it unfold. That's for sure. But I wouldn't be touching it here for myself. That's for sure. I told you maybe 20-week, maybe. And then you want to look at the daily as well, and the 4-hourly, just to kind of get a better sense of what is happening more locally. Okay, next we are moving on from Phantom towards Solana. ThetaBTC, yeah, we got a bounce at the lower end of the box here where we had the previous supports. We'll see. I mean, are we going to make it up? I would normally say, yeah, we'll probably make it back up to the 20-week moving average, which is around this 330 level. Yeah, and which, I mean, also confluences nicely with this support and resistance zone. So, you know, watch for that. There's definitely a chance it could come back up in there and find that as resistance, and then make its way, either chop around or make its way back down. I think down is more likely, but you've seen quite a bit of negative momentum. But yeah, as we've seen before, things can get quite negative in the momentum territory. you're at the lower end of this support. And after this breaks, after this support breaks, that's why we have this box drawn out, because you're pretty much guaranteed to go down there. Now, having said that, maybe on a daily level, something is going to stop you. But with what's happening here with the Ichimoku cloud, either you got to stay above this thing, or you're coming down and you're going to go through this part of it. And that's probably more likely, something like that. But we'll see. We shall see. Still hasn't tried to retest the 20-week moving average after breaking down. However, to be fair, what was the other chart we were looking at with that? It was BNB, I think. We were looking at the BNB chart. Solana has the version where it's green, and it is below the 20-week moving average. So it definitely dropped below. It's definitely an intermediate candle, a pausing candle, and it gets rejected there at the 20-week moving average on a closing basis. So maybe that's enough. That's your move down, your rejection below from the underside, and a continued move down. Possible, or the price might need to move down and on a bigger turn up get rejected again. That's also possible. So keep an eye out, keep watch. Lower time frames help as well. Okay, that's it for Solana. Next is AVAX Avalanche. Oh, we're gonna get logged out here. I'm doing too much on this one machine. Oh, let me see here. Just stick with me. Maybe hit the fast forward button. Let's see what happens when I reload. Oh boy. Okay, well, I mean, I might just have to end it here. We are so close to the end, but it's just not cooperating anymore. Something has happened to my, something has happened here. Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. Let's see what happened. Okay, I'm coming back. Don't go anywhere. Here we go. All right, let me share that screen again. Boom. All right, we're back. Sorry for that hiccup. Maybe you did a little quick. What do you call that? Fast forward. Okay, Avalanche getting rejected by that midway point here, this dotted purple line. But it did get that support. It caught some pretty good support, as we saw previously. 3 green candles in a row, big wick at the top here, body all the way at the bottom. I mean, this is this week's candle, but anyway, anytime I'm seeing a 3rd green candle in a row, I'm waiting for a red one after that. Doesn't mean it's going to come. Look, you know, you might have in a really big, strong bull trend, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row, right? And then in a really bear trend, you could have, oh, I don't even want to count those for you. So, but generally, yeah, 3 is a good number, especially on a pullback. I don't think you're going to get more than 3. So if this is indeed a pullback, then yeah, expect it to go down further. So let's just take a high to low to high. So you're looking down here at around the 120,000. Which is near the bottom of this beginning of this move, and then it does give us, you know, yeah, it's a nice region for support. right here with this deviation, but this level here. So, and then of course we have this even stronger level here. So don't be surprised, and it confluences here. So yeah, my guess is we came down to the bottom of this channel, and we got to the middle, and we're going to break down below this channel, and this channel will no longer, this horizontal channel will no longer be the support that it once was. And yeah, look, this is just up and down, so I'm guessing it'll come down here to, so yeah, so far seems like that's how it'll play for Avalanche. We'll see though. Now, of course, none of this is guaranteed. It just could shoot right up to the upper end of the channel, come down to the middle of the channel, go up higher, whatever, I don't know. But it's showing us most likely it's coming down. Okay, we got our support also. Let's get rid of these drawings for a second. We got our support at the Bollinger Band nicely. 20-week moving average, I mean, of the Bollinger Band here. 20-week moving average support, bounced off of it. I think we'll come back towards it. Watch for the breakdown, and then especially like a retest or a closing below the 20-week moving average is the beginning of the downturn. So just some thoughts for anybody looking to go short. Okay, that's Avalanche. Let's close that one. We have 3 more. Let's see how this goes. Matic. So Matic is also looking like it didn't quite reach the 20-week moving average. So we'll see what ends up happening here, but we're just again crossing over MACD signal into negative territory, negative histogram territory. Still working through the RSI. Yeah, I haven't even come to touch the 20-week moving average. So we're going to come most likely touch 20-week moving average, maybe bounce, but maybe we're just going to cut right through it, bounce around the Ichimoku cloud area, which is all this level of previous resistance, support type of stuff here, this zone. So that's what I'm thinking is coming around here, which is what, 3,500-ish, okay? And then you really need to bounce like you did here off the top of this upsloping channel. You would like to bounce, but we'll have to see once we get there what things are looking like. By that point, you're only just at the lower, like underside of the 20-week moving average. By that point, you're just coming down below 20-week moving average. Maybe you're bouncing off Ichimoku and you're squeezed at that 20-week, probably going to go down further. And this is your hope. This is your big hope right here, is that you can stop here. Otherwise, on a weekly basis, you're looking down here, which is way down at 800 Satoshis, 900 Satoshis. Otherwise, your one hope is a good like 2,000, let's call it, oops. Let's call it, yeah, like 2,200, 2,000, whatever. 2,000 is fair, whatever, 2,200. Okay, that's Matic. Look for more downside. Okay, next. All right, the Luna BTC. I think next time I'm going to go backwards. We're going to start from this end, and then we'll go the other way. Let me know in the comments if you have any preferences. Okay, if you want me to add or take away any charts, well, yeah, probably if I add, then I'll have to take away. I don't necessarily know if I want to do it a longer stream than it already is. Yeah, so here we are again, supporting at the 20-week moving average, getting a bit of support. Most likely we're going to dump down further. That's just get the sense that I'm getting. However, of course, it could be strong. We're still above these previous highs. If Luna is going to be strong, this is the area to be strong. So if you notice a move up and it's really strong, but it doesn't normally happen when you're just breaking into this negative momentum like that. You're just like it's been going up so much, you're just crossing into bearish signals. No, it doesn't feel that way. And if we go top to bottom, and I don't know where it's going to retrace, but we'll use these previous levels here. We'll use the box. We'll be generous, roughly, and say, yeah, a 1-to-1 brings you down here to this 80,000 range, down here to these previous price levels. So, and a 1618 can bring you down to the bottom of the channel. So I think this is a fair line here. We've drawn already previously at around this 68,000 level. So, but then of course below that at around 60,000 is a great level to ladder in, and above that around the 75, 70, you know, that kind of thing, 65. But it's pretty tight in there at that point. So you just ladder in however you feel like you want to. If you're looking to pick up more. Okay, if you're looking to go short, well, none of this financial advice, but this is decent levels to be looking to get your plan set up for how you want to navigate that for yourself, if that's the case, because it looks like we are going to come down further. Then the danger is, oh, now do we really want to play speculation games? You come down further and you find support here and you bounce, but if it's not strong enough and we're in a bear market or some other thing against BTC, you're making this nasty head and shoulders move, and you're definitely looking to come down to these levels here. Most likely the halfway point between the support there and the resistance there. So at that point, you're talking like 24,000, 25,000 Satoshis. Cool. That's Luna thoughts. Finally, for today, we are looking at the Atom chart. And similarly to the others, so it made that move from the top now to the bottom, 20-week moving average. It is getting its support there, but looks like we're going to be moving down further. That's just the sense I'm getting. It's always been the sense that I had for a while since we looked at this. Well, first it was we would reach the top here, then it was we would come down. So let's give it a bit of benefit of doubt here. So yeah, I mean, why not? Especially if Atom is going to be strong, it'll come down to the lower end of this triangulation here, and then bounce back to the upside. If not, if it's going to be weak and it's going to break below this Ichimoku cloud, if it gets below the 20-week and it's coming to the lower end of the Bollinger Band, lower end of the Bollinger Band currently is right here. So as it creeps up, we're looking at maybe the midway of this level here as being a solid zone for like finding some lows. So that would be nice. But maybe you're just going to need to go all the way to the lower end of the box and just regroup from there. We'll see. First target is this area here, this uptrending slope. And yeah, that's it for ADABTC. The thing about ADABTC is it hasn't quite yet moved into negative momentum territory, and it did have this bearish divergence. So this indicator, with this bearish divergence as well on the RSI, the MACD indicator and the RSI are giving us a signal that there's likely more bearishness to come. And yes, that makes me get the sense that we will be moving below the Ichimoku cloud and coming down into this level. And so that way, this whole thing will become a bit of a range where you had down and to the mid, to the up, to the down, or the mid, or whatever, like whatever levels it ends up being at. But it just seems like it's not so much mid. It seems like on this one, there's the mid, the high mid. Oops, that's not what I want. I want this. There's the high mid and there's the low mid. It's like they're thirds. This one's broken up into thirds. And so we are just at the top of above the top third, and it looks like we're going to be dropping down into the middle third subsequently based on these indicators. Okay, everyone. Well, I hope that's been helpful for you. I don't have much else to say other than I'm wishing you all the best. Love, peace, happiness, and yeah, enjoy yourselves out there. Stay safe out there, of course. You know, you don't want to get wrecked. You don't want to get wrecked. Keep learning. Until next time, I'm Giuliano. Goodbye.